Good evening and a very warm welcome to Solomon Leadership Program graduation ceremony. My name is Jessica Brisk and I stand before you today as a junior at Alonzo and Tracy Morning and a proud Solomon graduate. It is my honor to welcome Hani Kaller and Carolina Hertz, whose dedication has shaped our program. Welcome to our esteemed commencement speaker, Mr. Gabriel Grossman, whose insights we eagerly anticipate. And of course, a special welcome to our mentors, the backbone of this program, whose guidance and support have been invaluable. Last but certainly not least, a warm welcome to our families and friends whose love and encouragement have fueled our growth and throughout this transformative year. Reflecting on my experience within the Solomon Leadership Program, I am overwhelmed by the profound impact it has had on me. Throughout my time in the Solomon Leadership Program, I have experienced immense personal growth, both in my confidence and my ability to lead with integrity. This journey has challenged me to think critically, embrace responsibility, and develop the skills necessary to inspire others. I have learned that true leadership is not about authority, but about service, resilience, and the willingness to grow. The program has helped me refine my communication, decision-making, and problem-solving abilities, equipping me with my tools I need to make a meaningful impact in my community. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to my mentor, Dr. Murad Zeltzman, for his tireless guidance and support. Your wisdom and encouragement have been instrumental in shaping my perspective on leadership. Through your example, I have learned the importance of leading with humility, empathy, and strength. Thank you for believing in me, pushing me to be my best, and helping me discover the leader within myself. Your mentorship has been fundamental, and I'm truly grateful for the lessons that will stay with me for a lifetime. This evening, we celebrate the achievements and growth we've experienced as fellows. As we embark on the next chapter of our lives, we will carry with us the lessons we learned during our time in the Solomon Leadership Program. May we continue to lead with integrity, empathy, and purpose, shaping a future as tomorrow's leaders. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Eden O'Hine. It is an honor to be here tonight as we come together in support of Israel and our community. In times of struggle, it is our shared values, strength, and commitment that unite us. Leadership is not just about guiding others, it is about standing firm in our beliefs, even when the future is unclear. As we watch events unfold in Israel, we see how true leadership is tested in hard times. It is in these moments that we must come together, drawing strength from one another to move forward. Israel has always been a symbol of resilience. Through challenges, the country has remained strong because of the leadership and unity of its people. This reminds us that real leadership is not about power, it is about the responsibility. It is about standing up for what is right, supporting those in need, and never losing hope. As a community, we have a role to play. Supporting Israel is not just about words, it is about action. Whether through education, advocacy, or simply standing together, we can make a difference. When we unite with purpose, we show the world that we will not back down in the face of adversity.
Before we celebrate our fellows and their huge accomplishment in the Solomon Leadership Program, I'd like to call up Rabbi Alex Kaller, followed by Mrs. Hani Kaller for some words of wisdom.
You want to come up and hold your hand? Hi everyone. Welcome. It's weird to talk in the mic from this podium. There's a story about Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah the prophet, that Elijah was traveling from town to town, and he comes to a particular community where he was not greeted and treated very warmly, let's say. And Elijah, as he departs, tells the people in the community in this town that may everybody in this place be a leader, may everybody be a head. And I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but when Elijah says these words are rather, I'm not going to say curse, not a rebuke, but it's something that he expresses as he is extremely disappointed with the way they treated him and the way he saw treated others. And the question is, to wish somebody may ever be a leader, seemingly this is not a punishment, this is not a curse, this is not something negative. Why is Elijah the prophet in this story uses that as something to rather chastise and discipline these people, this community? And the explanation goes that when you have many cooks, let's call it that, in a kitchen, when everybody is a leader, when everybody pulls their own way and nobody is willing to listen and to work with the other, actually that community, that place will probably not succeed. Something like that. You're graduating now from the leadership course, and when I used to hear leadership, we teach leadership, we learn leadership, how could everybody be a leader? You have one president, you have one, CEO. You can have more than one rabbi. You have one rebbitzin. Rabbis, there could be more. The rebbitzins, there is only one. And how could everybody be a leader? If you're a leader, you're leading, and I'm leading, how's that going to work? So what does it mean to be a leader? I think to be a leader means believing and knowing there is something absolutely unique that only you can contribute to this world. And that's what leadership, that's what leading, that's what a leader is. That's who a leader is. So, as we are now coming out of the holiday of Purim, and I'll be very brief, if you look at the story of Purim, there is one person that pretty much stands at the helm of the whole story, and that person is? No, who's the hero of Purim? Because they didn't teach you about Purim, they only taught you about resilience and tolerance. It's Esther, right? Queen Esther. Esther is the one. Megillat Esther, the scroll of Esther. So there is one beautiful line that inspired me always, and I want to share this line with you, and I will conclude with that. If you look into the whole story of Purim, the first half of the Megillah, the first half of the story, you have Mordechai, who is Esther's uncle, Mordechai, who is the spiritual leader of the generation. He's calling the shots. He's the one telling Esther, go and participate in this beauty contest and go and become a queen, and on and on and on. Mordechai is the leader of the generation. Mordechai is the spiritual leader. But then there is a certain point in the Megillah where everything flips. And suddenly you see that Esther, this young girl, this young beautiful woman who's taken by this non-Jewish king into the palace, suddenly she starts telling Mordechai what to do. And if you look literally from one point, everything flips like this. She becomes a leader. Where is that point in the story of Purim? That point is when Mordechai comes to Esther and tells her, Umi Yodeh, and who knows, it's your time to act. Maybe for this very moment, you became a queen. And Esther starts giving excuses. I haven't been called to Mordechai, to the king for 30 days, and I don't know, and I just fasted for 3 days, and I didn't eat, and I didn't drink. Can you imagine how I look? And to go, and anybody who walks in, and king does not approve, I could be killed. And Mordechai tells her these words. He says, Revach vehatzola yamod leYehudi mimokim acher. You should know that God will find the way to save the Jews. But this is your moment to shine, and if you miss this opportunity, maybe you're missing the whole mission and the whole purpose of your life. Who knows, maybe for this very moment, your soul came into this world. God will find a way. But if you want to lead, now is the time. And we literally see, as we say in Miami, we literally see from this moment on that Esther she steps up to her mission. And from this point on, it's not Mordechai telling her what to do, but she is the one guiding him and guiding the whole Jewish people. I want to wish you all Mazel Tov and your families. It's amazing to see you all graduate. Some of you I know since you were little kids, not even bar and bat mitzvah, but I think our Sunday school, maybe even before that. And it's incredible to see you young men and women who are the next generation of Jewish leaders. You should always remember that never back down from leading, never back down from believing in yourself, never back down from believing that you can contribute something unique, because you definitely can, and that's why you are in this world, that's why God brought you here. And yes, somebody else could do the job, but it's your moment, it's your life, it's your people, and it's your time to shine. Mazel tov.
Okay, fellows, this one is for you. Today, you stand on the threshold of greatness, filled with potential to shape the world around you. And as you embark on this journey, I want to remind you of the wisdom of Chabad Hasidut, one that we brought up multiple times in our classes together, which teaches us that true leadership comes from a deep sense of purpose, self-awareness, and responsibility. Being a leader can only bring happiness and satisfaction when we recognize that our mission on this earth is to serve. The Rebbe of blessed memory often spoke about the importance of being a lamplighter. Leadership isn't about titles or positions, it's about influence, it's about character, and it's about vision. Hasidic teachings remind us that each person has a unique spark, a divine mission, and a power to illuminate the world with their actions. So use your unique light to light up the people and the environment around you in only the way that you know how. As future leaders, you are called not only to lead with wisdom, but with kindness, with humility, and integrity. Embrace the idea that each challenge that you face is an opportunity to grow and to lift up others. Understand that true leadership stems from selflessness, from a deep desire to make the world a better place, and from the belief that every small act of goodness contributes to a greater, more meaningful reality. The world awaits your leadership. Be the light that guides others with courage and compassion, and may you always remain grounded in the values that will help you lead with heart and with soul. May Hashem bless you, that you go from strength to strength in all your endeavors. I want to take a moment to thank our mentors who have sacrificed 13 evenings of their already busy work schedules to do this very holy work. I'm eternally grateful that you all agreed to join me on this mission in inspiring our youth to secure a brighter tomorrow. I know the struggle of ending a very long, hard day at the office with yet another responsibility, and I'm very grateful. Thank you, Carolina, who's the reason that our program runs efficiently and professionally, without whom this would just be a very cool concept. A tremendous thank you to our friend, Mr. Gabe Groisman, who said yes to addressing us tonight. If you're not already listening to his podcast, I highly recommend starting now. His Standpoint, which is also the name of his podcast, is one filled with steadfast strength and belief in the clarity between wrong and right. I'm full of appreciation for his presence tonight. Before we continue, I'd like us to take a moment to remember our sisters and our brothers who are waiting for their freedom, for peace, and to come home. May our mitzvot and our effort to add light in the world bring their redemption now. And now, I'll let our fellows shine.
Ephraim Dafter.
Are we giving him his thingy? Fine. This way?
Gabriella Gershenson.
over this way away from the light.
Hola, Paco. Sorry if I got it wrong.
I wasn't at first.
Come here.
Nina Fagan.
Nina was once my pre-K student. This is wild.
Abigail Castilla. Karina Kasich. Sasha Krasnopolsky. I should have. Sasha.
You know, stand in front of Jessica. I'm gonna start a second line.
Matthew Lack. I have not used your last name once this whole time. I apologize if I'm butchering it. Daniel Malamud. Elton O'Hara. Mark Shore. Sam Tarofsky. Okay, and now one photo for our graduating class of Sunny Isles Solomon Leadership Program 2025.
Good evening. My name is Sasha Krasnopolsky, and I'm honored to be a 2025 graduate of the Solomon Leadership Program. Being a leader, being a leader is a lot like being a coxswain on a rowing team. At first glance, it might seem like the rowers do all the work. Their strengths move the boat. But without direction, without someone steering, without a voice cutting through the chaos, that power is wasted. Leadership isn't about pulling the oars. It's about setting the course, adapting to the currents, and keeping the team focused when exhaustion sets in. Also, as a coxswain myself, being one means spending every race yelling at people significantly taller and stronger than me. A great exercise in both leadership and self-preservation. That's what Solomon taught me. Leadership isn't just about speaking up, it's about knowing when to listen. I've always been outspoken, quick to share my thoughts, to take charge of the conversation. But through this program, I realized that leadership isn't about always having the first word. It's about making sure the right voices are heard. After all, as Albert Einstein once said, any fool can know, but the point is to understand. So when Dr. Brooke Frankel spoke to us about mentorship, she didn't just give us a roadmap. She shared her experiences, her failures, her doubts. She showed us that leadership isn't about knowing everything, it's about asking the right questions, embracing the different perspectives, and making choices that reflect both confidence and humility. The lecture on communication drove us home. A leader's voice isn't just about volume, it's about impact. A Cosm can't just call out random commands. We have to be precise, intentional, and adaptable. A single word at the wrong time can throw off the rhythm of an entire vote. In the same way, leadership isn't just about speaking, it's about making sure every word moves the team forward. It's like giving a toast at a wedding, saying something meaningful, keeping it concise, and making sure no one regrets handing you the microphone. Beyond the lessons, the pillars of Solomon, character, judgment, communication became the strokes that shaped my leadership. They reminded me that leadership isn't just about standing out, but about lifting others up. That's what inspired my artwork, Vision and Chaos. An eye, focused, unblinking, staring through a storm of color. Because leadership isn't about controlling the chaos, it's about finding the meaning within it. Each color burst represents the pillars of leadership: character anchoring us, judgment sharpening us, and communication connecting us. Leadership is messy, and through it all, a true leader sees clearly. That's the lesson Solomon has given me. Leadership isn't a title, it's not a moment of glory. It's a continuous process of learning, of growing, of guiding others through the uncertainty. So now I ask you, what vision are you steering forward toward? Are you simply going with the current, or are you choosing your direction? Because leadership isn't about waiting for the perfect moment, and it's about creating it instead. As philosopher and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl said, "We are no longer able to change a situation. We are challenged to do it, to change ourselves." So, for all the leaders. So take that challenge, step up, lead, and make the choice to see clearly through the chaos. Thank you.
Guys, 1 second. We are now going to be taking our most important time to thank our mentors. Yeah, Liam, come up to thank Dr. Brooke Frankel. Go ahead. I'm going to work on the slideshow.
Sure. Good evening, my name is Liam Glazer. I'm honored to stand here today as a graduate of the Solomon Program 2025. And I'm here today to thank our mentor, Dr. Brooke Frankel. So Dr. Frankel has made every discussion at our table something to look forward to. She challenges us, pushes us to think deeper, and isn't afraid to add new perspective that changes the way that we see things. The conversations that we've had, whether about guest speakers or topics within the program, have been some of the most interesting and engaging I've ever had. One of the biggest lessons that Dr. Frankel has taught us is the value of perspective, and she has a way of adding on to our ideas to an extent that makes us rethink everything, not by telling us what to believe in, but by showing us different ways of looking at things. Her insight has made us all sharper, more curious, and more willing to question the world around us. Dr. Frankel, thank you so much for your wisdom, your humor, and making every discussion a memorable one. We truly appreciate you. And with that, please join me in our showing our appreciation for Dr. Frankel with a round of applause. Thank you.
Give me a hug. Thank you. It's very sweet. Come, let's go there for a little picture.
Yeah.
Hold on. Just so that Perfect. Oh, okay. We'll come back this way. Back this way. Yeah. Pass her the. She could hold it in the back. Yes.
Okay, next we'd like to call up Philip Hykov and Abby to thank Miss Alana Artsy.
Good evening, everyone. During the Solomon program, I had the privilege of being mentored by Ilana. She has played a crucial role in helping me improve my character and motivating me to step outside of my comfort zone. Ilana not only guided me, but also helped my group and me connect the pillars to our daily lives in meaningful ways. We had discussions that expanded my thinking and pushed me to try new things. As a result of her mentorship, I've taken on leadership opportunities in school, using her advice to push myself further. Each session with Miss Ilana gave me the strength to tackle new challenges and build my confidence. She shared personal experiences showing how the pillars shaped her own life, which gave me a broader perspective on their importance. Ilana's wisdom and guidance have truly been vital in helping me become a better version of myself. Thank you, Ilana, for everything you've done for me and our group.
Thank you, Abigail. I echo everything she said, and I'd like to take a moment to share how much Ilana has meant to me personally. Your insight and wisdom has made Solomon program a much more enriching experience for me and my peers. Through our conversations, I gained clarity about my future and the direction I want to take. The space you created allowed me to openly express my thoughts and receive constructive feedback that helped me grow. Your guidance has truly made a lasting impact, and I'm incredibly grateful for the time and effort you invested in us. I have no doubt that future fellows will be just as fortunate to have you as a mentor. Once again, thank you for everything. Your support has made a real difference in our journeys.
Rabbi, can you just put your hand over the light? It'll be way faster than moving everything. Yeah, come over here. Here, you grab that.
Maybe not as sound.
Just come. We're gonna scoot over. Take a picture, not in front of the. Yeah, there you go. No, Alice, don't do that. Don't touch buttons. Just put your hand like this. It will mess it up. Please, please don't touch buttons. Yeah.
I know what buttons to touch.
You have to get it back on.
All right, everybody, so here you go. Thank you. Just like that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry guys, just a little technical difficulty. Matthew, please come up.
Hi, my name is Matthew Leck. I'm a senior at University School. As a businessman, a mentor, and a visionary, Mr. Musa has not only demonstrated an extraordinary level of success in his professional life, but he has also shown an unwavering commitment to the next generation of leaders. Through his selfless dedication to the Solomon Leadership Program, he has become more than just a mentor. He has become a guiding light for all of us, fortunate enough to be in his presence and specifically in his mentor group. Mr. Musa is the embodiment of leadership in every sense of the word. His passion for developing leaders, his willingness to share his vast experience, and his belief in the potential of others has been an immeasurable impact on the fellows of this program. He does not simply teach the principles of leadership, he lives them. He gives his time, his energy, and his expertise with a generosity that is nothing short of inspiring. Every session, every conversation, and every piece of advice that Mr. Musa offers is crafted with care and genuine concern for the growth of those around him. His approach is not just about imparting knowledge, it is about building confidence, inspiring vision, and nurturing a deep sense of responsibility in the next generation of leaders. Thank you, Oleg, for your time and dedication to this program. I cannot tell you enough how much I have gained spending this time with you.
Presenting with that on that side. After you. Thank you.
Gabriella.
During my time, I have to turn this on.
It's on.
During my time at the Solomon Leadership Program, I've had the pleasure of being under the mentorship of an amazing and accomplished woman, Dr. Zoltzman. I'd like to express my sincere gratitude for her guidance and support throughout this program. The encouragement and dedication she showed us has made such a meaningful impact on my journey. Whether it was through giving advice or helping us better understand the coursework we completed, her insights made this process feel so much more approachable. Dr. Zeltzman also showed us how important it is to interweave and apply these pillars in our daily lives. Your mentorship has been invaluable, and I so sincerely appreciate the time and effort you put into ensuring that we not only learned, but grew as wise-minded individuals. I cannot thank you enough for being such an inspiring role model. I'm gonna just put this down there.
That's very sweet.
You could take that.
Oh.
You could take this.
Okay.
And I'll just come in for the photo.
On behalf of our mentor group, I would like to take this opportunity to extend our deepest gratitude to someone whose dedication, guidance, and mentorship have had an invaluable impact on each of us, Dr. Murad Zeltzman. Dr. Zeltzman, you have truly set an extraordinary example of what it means to give selflessly of your time and energy. You have not only built a remarkable professional career, but have also opened your heart and mind to nurture the next generation of leaders. Through your work as a pediatrician, you have touched countless lives, and through your mentorship, you have begun shaping our future, and I have no doubt the future of many more. Your unwavering commitment to helping us grow and succeed has not gone unnoticed. You have shared your knowledge, wisdom, and experience with an unparalleled generosity, and you have inspired us all to strive for excellence in our fields. The countless hours you've devoted to our growth, whether in the form of advice, guidance, or simply lending an attentive ear, are a testament to your passion for education and leadership. Thank you for all you have done for this program and for each of us individually.
Thank you. Come on up there.
Good evening, everyone, our Solomon parents, staff, fellows, and friends. My name is Gabriella Gershenson, and I'm a 12th grade student attending Broward Virtual School. The Solomon Leadership Program has been an amazing learning experience. I've made friends, learned important trades, and slowly conquered my anxiety about public speaking. I am grateful that I've had this opportunity and learned from such incredible people. When brainstorming ideas for the visual presentation, I thought about what I learned about the leadership pillars we discussed during Solomon. Each pillar is necessary to keep cities and businesses going. So in the context of Sunny Isles Beach, I created my project as a satellite view of our city shoreline with pillars being represented as buildings. The buildings are outstretching the satellite view because the pillars of leadership are bigger than just a city, county, country, or continent. They are what we define great leaders, and they are the reason we have functioning countries, the reason why we have women's rights and the desegregation of schools. They are why we have great history makers like Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Abraham Lincoln, and Susan B. Anthony, and so many more. Thank you again. There you go.
Good evening, Solomon fellows, mentors, staff, friends, and family. My name is Karina Kapis, and I am honored to present my final project, The Race to Leadership. When I began the Solomon Leadership Program, I saw leadership as a destination, something you simply arrived at with enough effort. But throughout this journey, I've realized that leadership is not about just reaching a finish line. It's about the path you take to get there. That's why I created a racetrack map that winds through the 8 pillars of the Solomon Program, each representing an essential lesson I've learned. We stand at the finish line today, not just as participants in this program, but as transformed leaders ready to take on 2025 with purpose and confidence. I would like to sincerely thank my mentor, Dr. Simkin Zeltzman, and the Solomon Leadership Program for this incredible experience. Let's keep racing forward, not just towards success, but towards making a meaningful impact in the world as the next generation's Jewish leaders.
Ephraim, please come up for our guest speaker highlights.
Good evening, everyone. Over the past few months, we've had the opportunity to hear from some amazing guest speakers, each sharing their own experiences and perspectives on leadership. Every speaker had something valuable to say, but some in particular really changed the way I think about life and communication in particular. During the program, we learned from Rabbi Alex Kaller on leadership and Mr. Roshlo on communication. Rabbi Kaller gave us a real understanding of leadership, not just about being in charge, but about taking responsibility, and the way he spoke about how he came from Russia and started this shul. Another speaker that really stuck with me was Mr. Roshlo. He made me realize that words have power. They could shape situations, influence people, and change the way others see you. Before hearing him, I never really thought about how much control I had over how I communicate. He explained that great communicators don't just talk, they know when to talk, how to talk, and when to listen. That lesson completely changed the way I look at conversations. Now, I catch myself thinking before I speak, analyzing how people respond, and seeing patterns I never noticed before. That's just one of the many lessons we've picked up from this program, and I know I'm not the only one who's walking away with a new perspective. I'm grateful for the opportunity to learn from such incredible speakers, and I know their words will stick with us as we continue to grow as leaders. And now I'd like to call on Mark Short to share highlights from the rest of our guest speakers. Thank you.
Good evening everyone. Throughout our journey in the Solomon Leadership Program, we had the privilege of hearing from esteemed guest speakers, each sharing valuable insight from their own leadership experience. Tonight, I'm excited to highlight a couple of my personal takeaways from these inspirational leaders. During the program, we were fortunate to learn from pioneers from all different industries. For starters, Yossi Farah, an influencer spreading the love of Judaism by rapping tefillin with her favorite Hollywood stars. His vision to rap tefillin with as many people as possible became an internet sensation, teaching the youth the importance of tefillin while simultaneously inspiring men. We were also able to learn about Scott Clarley, the host of the third best education podcast, Success Story Podcast. With over 1.7 million followers on Instagram, he uses his platform as a way to educate others about self-development. Mr. Lilasheyev went from sleeping in his office to now being the co-founder of GoPuff, a $40 billion company that deals with delivery service. He came to Solomon emphasizing how important persistence is in the chase for success. He encouraged us not to give up and to give 100% to everything we do. We also got to learn from Shane Newman, who turned nothing into something by making the first text message advertising software. My Solomon class and I had the opportunity to listen to Judge Glazer of the 11th Circuit Court in Florida. She presided over both the Arthur Booth and Alexander Brothers cases. She taught us the importance of keeping a level head and not letting our emotions get the best of us when making decisions. From billionaires and judges and everything in between, we also got to hear from Mr. Jared Firestone, a professional skeleton athlete. Jared is the perfect person who encompasses all 8 pillars which we learned. As an aspiring lawyer, Jared suffered a mini stroke. He then persevered and completely changed his life course to become a skeleton athlete. Now he races down icy slopes to achieve the fastest time possible, using his social media platform today to educate and inspire people all around the world. Similarly, he co-founded a nonprofit promoting Jewish athletes. With a dream to compete in the 2026 Olympics, he ultimately taught my fellows and me that it isn't about how many times you fall, rather it is about how many times you get up. Thank you.
We're going to invite Daniel to welcome our commencement speaker tonight. Feels so short now, all these kids.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Daniel Malmud, and I'm a proud Solomon Fellow. I'm honored to stand before you today as we come together to celebrate our graduation. Through Solomon, we've had the privilege of learning from accomplished leaders. One thing we learned that had a big impact on me was from Mr. Shane Neiman, entrepreneur, venture capitalist, and real estate developer, who said that as a leader, everyone should know what you stand for when you walk in a room, so find your meaning. This line from Mr. Neiman really helped me grasp what being a leader means. A leader must go on a voyage of self-exploration and identify a passion. With this passion in mind, a leader has an obligation to communicate what they stand for and consequently leave a legacy. Tonight, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our esteemed guest speaker, Gabriel Groisman. A dedicated Jewish community leader and advocate, a former mayor of Bal Harbor, Groisman is known for his work combating anti-Semitism, strengthening Jewish communities, and fostering ties between Israel and the U.S. He made history by passing the nation's first anti-BDS ordinance and defining anti-Semitism legally. A global speaker, Groisman has presented at the United Nations, the Israeli Knesset, and other prestigious platforms. He is also a columnist and commentator, regularly appearing on TV and radio. In addition to his work as an attorney and government affairs consultant, he hosts the podcast Standpoint with Gabe Groisman, where he discusses pressing political issues with leaders from the US and Israel. Above all, Gabriel is a proud father of 5 daughters and a devoted husband to his wife Lisa. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Mr. Gabriel Groisman as he shares his insights and wisdom with us tonight.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for having me. Thank you to my friends, Rabbi and Rebbetzin Kaller, for inviting me once again. I've been involved in Solomon Leadership Program one way or another for many years, and this year just seems entirely different. So just to address quickly the leadership aspect that you guys have learned about, and then I'm going to shift my conversation. First, I heard a few people when you guys walked back to your chairs saying, I made mistakes, I fumbled over this or that. Nobody cares. What people care about when you get up and speak is that you're authentic. And each and every one of you were authentic in your words and what you were trying to deliver, so all of you should be proud of yourself so far. The way you presented yourself tonight entirely. Let me give you this. And just quickly, generally about leadership, because I know this program, what it's about. My kids are graduates as well, 2 of them. You know, in this world, and I hope it's okay, I'm going to speak this way. In this world, you're going to find something, which is most people don't want to stand up and become leaders. The first time I put myself forward to become a leader of an organization, I was 25 years old. I went and spoke to the CEO, and I said, I want to be the chair of this group. I didn't know what he was going to say. I did it because my boss made me. True story. And he jumped at me. He said, are you serious? You would become the chair? Because people don't want to stand up. People don't like putting their necks out there. But that's what makes us as the Jewish people different, because we do. And when you looked at all your guest speakers that this group has seen and has heard from throughout your program, it's spectacular. CEOs of multi-billion-dollar companies, right? People who have built synagogues and communities. These aren't small tasks. And this is an incredible characteristic of the Jewish people. And that's really where I want to turn our attention to tonight. Because there's a reason why tonight feels different, at least to me and maybe to many of you. As all of you are finishing up high school in the next year or two, I know what many of you are thinking. Where am I going to go to school? And it's not just about where am I going to learn engineering or business or whatever else you want to study. But how is it going to be like to be a Jew there? And I know this because I speak to college kids on college campuses all year, throughout the year, and to high school students as they're graduating, and their parents in particular, who are frantic about what school their kids can go to, because things have changed. So many of us, me included, will find ourselves thinking, how can I use my leadership qualities to fight against this explosion of anti-Semitism that we've seen around the world? By the way, it's been growing year over year, over 100% for the last 10 years. But nothing like it's grown or exploded since October 7th. And we all know that. And we all live in this bubble in South Florida. So for us, we see it, but it's not that bad. But tomorrow I'm going to Washington, D.C., wearing my kippah. And I promise you, there's probably a 40% chance that someone says something to me or looks at me in a strange way. I was in Little Rock, Arkansas last week testifying on an anti-Semitism bill. And the same thing. But guess what? I don't care. Because there's something about being proud of who you are and walking in a way to carry yourself with pride and strength. And I look at it as an honor to wear a kippah and to walk around so people know what a proud and strong Jew looks like, who's not going to back down, who's going to stand up, who can have a conversation with anybody about any issue. And it's like the rabbi said, not going to back down for its people. Now the truth is that before October 7th, the Jewish people here in the United States were mostly asleep. And there's numbers to support that. There's data to support that. There's this polling group called the Pew Research Poll that puts out a poll every single year about Jewish life in America. 2024 hasn't come out yet, but every other year for the last 10 years, the number of Jews in the United States that don't care at all about being Jewish or about Israel is above 50%, between 50 and 60%. Just think about that for a little bit. And remember, they had to fill out a poll, so there's always a little extra people who don't care but said they care a little bit. That's just the people who said they don't care at all. But all of them, all 100% of them, were reminded on October 7th of something that our parents have been reminded of, and our grandparents and our great-grandparents, whether it's here, in Israel, in Russia, in Morocco, in South America. We were reminded by others that we're Jews. Now think about it. They're saying it as a negative thing. You know how many reminders we had in 2024? 6,326. That's how many recorded incidents of anti-Semitism took place. It's the most ever in the United States this past year. And each one of those is a little prick on the side of your body saying, hey, you're a Jew. But there has to be more. Being a Jew can't be just being someone who responds to anti-Semitism. It can't just be waking up because somebody is knocking at your door in a negative way. There's got to be more. And I'm here to tell you there's a lot more. And it's important for you all and for all of us to take our qualities as leaders, whatever that means for each and every one of us, because everyone is going to do that differently, to do two things at the same time when it comes to these issues. First, it's my philosophy that we have to fight anti-Semitism wherever it is. Many people disagree with that. They'll say, don't fight here, you're going to lose that fight. Don't file this lawsuit. We filed a lawsuit against the Associated Press this year for hiring a Hamas-affiliated photographer that came across the border on October 7th, 20 minutes before crossing the border, tweeted that today they're bringing glory to Allah. And they knew that because they had notice of it a few years ago. Other lawyers were saying, don't file that. What if you lose? And my answer is, what if I lose? As Jews, fighting is also surviving. We have to fight every fight that's before us. But we also at the same time cannot allow that to define who we are. So we spoke about the 6,326 opportunities that we had to be reminded to be Jews, that we're Jews in this last year. But I think it's equally critical, or even more, to remember that we had 52 opportunities in that same year to show other people in our community what it is to observe Shabbat, to invite people to learn the beauty of what it means to be Jewish, to invite people to their home to light candles and to drink wine and to share in what it is to be a Jew. And Shabbat is such an important part of that, where you stop and you rest and you recognize that God created the world. And if He created the world in 6 days and then rested, we can work for 6 days and rest and recognize God and focus on our families and our communities. And I brought a book with me. I'm in the middle of reading this book by Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, Lord Rabbi Jonathan Sachs. He was given lordship in England. He was the chief rabbi of the UK. I'm sure a lot of your parents know him. And he just has a way of words, the way this guy speaks, the way he writes, it touches my soul. And he talks about, the name of the book is called The Letter in the Scroll. And I was thinking about it when I saw this beautiful chandelier. And where the phrase "a letter in the scroll" comes from is actually from the Baal Shem Tov, which Chani mentioned, who's the founder of Hasidus. And he says, I'm going to paraphrase it, that the Jewish people are the living Torah scroll. And each Jew is a letter in that scroll. And Rabbi Sachs continues and says, again I'm paraphrasing, that each Jew is a letter in the scroll, each Jew's family is a sentence, each Jewish community is a paragraph, and each page in the Torah scroll is all the Jewish people in one moment of time. And it's our job to be a letter in that scroll, to continue what it is to be Jewish, and to make sure that there's no empty letters in the Torah scroll, because we all know that if you look at a Torah scroll and there's a letter missing, there's even a letter that's not fully written, the entire Torah is invalid. And that's what our job is. But what's interesting is the rabbi speaks in his book, which, by the way, he wrote for his grandkids for their bar mitzvahs. And he said he asked all these university students at Oxford, I believe, what does it mean to you to be a Jew? And guess what? None of them could answer the question. Some of the most learned students couldn't answer what does it mean to them to be a Jew? Other than a few of them said to be the target of anti-Semitism. All these negative tropes, but nothing positive. And he pulls out, and I'm giving him all the credit for the thoughts that I have tonight with you all. And he pulls out a part of the Torah where Moshe Rabbeinu, before the Jews go into Israel, looks at them and says, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your soul and with all your might." Because, Rabbi Sachs continues, you can only pass on to your children that which you love. But with all respect to Rabbi Sachs, I'm going to add on top of that. Because you cannot pass along love to your children or to your friends. Love alone is not enough when it comes to the practice of what it means to be Jewish. It needs action. Love is also a verb. We have to show what it is by practicing our Judaism. For everybody that will mean something else. Okay, but to actually actively engage in Jewish life and Jewish culture, to be able to understand for you what it means to be Jewish. You can't be a Jew just because of the anti-Semitism. You have to be a Jew because you are a letter in that scroll. And you guys went through all these different incredible pillars, right? Character, perseverance, I'm going to get some of them wrong, tolerance, communication. All of them are important. But none of them are important unless you know who you are. Because to lead just for the sake of leading is going to lead you nothing but emptiness. But to lead with who you are and a full heart is really where the meaning is. And now, right now we're living sort of in this great spot. I have 2 kids exactly your guys' age and 3 little ones. And I realize you're at the age where you know everything, right? And you do know everything. You know everything about the world that you know. But what's about to change is the world that you know is going to be amplified tremendously. The aperture is just going to open. My oldest daughter is going, God willing, to the Israeli army on June 15th. And her world is going to change entirely. Everything that she knows is going to go out, not going to go out the window, but those are going to be the building blocks that she's going to have to stand upon in looking at this new world. And when you look at that, and you look at all of the tools that you guys learned during this program, I urge each of you to realize that you're not alone. That you're not the first, and you're not going to be the last that's graduating from your high schools, that's going out into the world, to university, or to work, to build your own families. And sometimes, or many times, young Jewish leaders forget where they came from. We're such a giving people that we're always worried about giving to everybody else, which is very important. But if you look at the Shulchan Aruch, the book of Jewish laws, of the Code of Jewish laws, there's an order by which you're supposed to give charity. First, you have to give to your family, then to your community, and then outside to the other communities. And we have forgotten, because we've been so comfortable in the last several decades here in this country, that our first responsibility is for ourselves. We should go out and help the whole world. It's in the Torah. We're mandated to do so. But we can't do it at the expense of standing up for ourselves and our own people. So I want to congratulate each and every one of you. I want to urge each and every one of you to continue to learn. This program is just the beginning. The pillars are just sort of a map. I love the visual representations you guys all did. They're just maps. That's not the answer. It's just the roadmap. As you go through the roadmap, I urge you to dive deep into what it means to be a Jew. And to know that it's not just to have a target on your back. It's not. It's a small piece of being a Jew. It's just a reality of what it is to be a Jew. Not just today, always. But it's also to have a little star on you. A star that represents all of these letters. And for those of you who don't understand and don't don't have a level, let's say, of religion and religious observance. I have many people, including in my family, will say, well, I'm not religious. There's a nice story. I was talking to my friend Rabbi Dechter in the back before, because I saw this and I thought it was the Baal Shem Tov as well. There's lots of different varieties to the same story, but I want to almost end with this. Where the Baal Shem Tov was in a town, and there was a big incident happening, and everyone rushes to the synagogue, and all these ultra-Orthodox men are praying, and they're davening, all this stuff, and you hear it. You come here on a Saturday, and you hear it, oh, no, 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 and some people are like, I don't even know what they're saying. And there's a guy standing in the back of the synagogue, and he is a simple man, a farmer, illiterate. All he knows is the Aleph Bet. He just knows the alphabet. And he's in the back crying, and he's davening, Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, and people are looking at him. And this is where there's different variations of the story. But the conclusion of the story is that simple man's prayers, of his letters, of his simple letters, were as strong or stronger than anyone else in the room who was there davening with every single word and every single melody and knowing every single prayer, because it's about your intent and your kavanah and your belief in God. And I want to share with you one story, and I have the chills just thinking about it. This last Shabbat, I was honored to spend some time with a young man, 22 years old, named Michael, who is a soldier in Egoz, one of the military combat units in the IDF. And exactly 1 year ago, Michael was with his 17 guys from his unit. They were staying in a living room of an abandoned building in Gaza when two terrorists, shot 2 RPGs directly into their living room. 14 people were severely injured and 2 were killed on the spot. He had shrapnel, which means pieces of the RPG, 2 pieces, lodged in his brain. A cousin of mine pulled him out of the rubble and put him in the pile. They weren't sure what pile to even put him in because he was obviously out cold. His face was not there, half of it. Now, you know how the story ends because he was with me this weekend. But Michael was in a coma for 3 weeks, had a tracheotomy, which is that he had to breathe from his neck for several months. And for many, many months after that, in the evening, he was explaining to me that at night you have to have it for extra support to breathe while you're sleeping. And he spoke in our house on Saturday. And he says that when he woke up from his coma, the doctor looked at him and said, I want to tell you that you are going to be crippled. You're not going to be able to walk or move your body for the rest of your life. This is the reality. Now let's get to work. He says he immediately decided to erase the words that the doctor said to him. He said, I simply erased those words. He said, I'm 22 years old. I'm not accepting what the doctor said to me. They assigned him to 4 hours a day of physical therapy. In the hospital, he had half of his body was paralyzed. And his head was still, his skull, they had to remove half of his skull because of the injury. He decided to sneak in every single day to the afternoon therapy session. And for 1 year, he did therapy, not 4 hours a day, but 8 hours every single day. And when they removed his trach tube during the day, he would have his friends pick him up twice a week from the hospital, where he would sneak out and go to the beach and go have a drink in front of the water of the Mediterranean Sea, because he refused not to live his life. And today, Michael was on a yacht here in Biscayne Bay on a jet ski. He had his face fully reconstructed. He's an incredibly handsome young man. You couldn't tell that he's had anything other than he walks right now still with a cane, because the only thing that's remaining that's paralyzed, the only joint, is his right ankle. And I said, oh, your right ankle is still, so he still walks with he can't turn the ankle. So he's a little, and he says, it's not going to be paralyzed for long, don't worry. I know how this works. That one's taking the longest, it'll be fine. And I asked him, how'd you do it? 22 years old, how did you do it? And he said two things. And these are the two things that I think I'd like to leave all of us with, me included. Perseverance, which means never giving up, and emunah, and belief and faith in God. And with perseverance and emunah, I can accomplish anything, which is what he said, which is the same for each and every one of us. So congratulations. I wish you all strength. I wish you all to overcome any issue that you would have. May it be nothing like the story I just told, but any small thing, you overcome it, you become big, strong leaders for the Jewish community, and like they said, you come back here to share your story and give back to your own community when it's your time. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sam, and I thank you all for being here tonight. As we gather to mark the end of the Solomon Leadership Program, I can confidently say that all of us believe that the program has been extremely valuable, not just in shaping our leadership skills, but in deepening our understanding of what it means to lead with character, empathy, and persistence. Tonight, I want to impart on you two values that I believe are useful in both leadership and life. Firstly, proper and effective communication. Communication, I have learned, is not just about being able to get your point across. It's also about being able to listen to and understand other people. Our guest speaker for the communication pillar, Mr. Roche Lowe, said that in order to effectively deliver an idea, connected to a passion and how that passion is fueled by a struggle. So, if you enjoy photography but have never been able to afford quality equipment, for example, you can connect those two ideas to inspire others to help you make your dreams a reality. On the other hand, it is equally as important to listen to and understand your audience. Through feedback from others, you can learn more about yourself as a leader and how to communicate on a more sincere and effective level with those you lead. Secondly, I have learned the importance of being able to see failure as a stepping stone towards success. Every setback, although it can bring you down, is only a chance for you to learn from your mistakes, build back, and do better. The curriculum has given us multiple stories of renowned CEOs and community heads that have made waves as leaders simply from being able to bounce back. Additionally, as Solomon leaders, we have been taught that we must embrace failure, not with fear, with curiosity and courage. Even King Solomon himself advises not to fear failure. In chapter 11 of Kohelet, he says, "He who waits for the wind will not sow, and he who looks at the clouds will not reap." In other words, the king is saying that if you keep looking at the ways you will fail, you will never succeed. In closing, I want to express my deepest gratitude to the Solomon Leadership Program for providing us with this incredible platform to grow as individuals and leaders. To my fellow participants, thank you for your inviting attitude and varied perspectives. I would also like to thank my mentor, Dr. Murat Zeltzman, for helping our group understand each pillar through providing personal insight and examples. As we leave here today, let us carry the value of being able to communicate well with others and keeping your chin up when facing adversity. Let us lead with purpose, passion, and humility, knowing that the world needs leaders who only aim to make more leaders. Thank you.